What's going on? I almost just had a carbonated water go everywhere as that went live. That would have been hilarious. How we doing? It's Thursday, which means it is time for Reconnected. It has been an interesting week. I feel like we got some really off the wall sort of announcements this week. Not really a heavy week, but more of like a robust week. I think last week we had a really heavy week. And then, of course, keep in mind we are getting Criterion announcements tomorrow, most likely. And there is some rumors on that front that we might be getting Night of the Living Dead 4K for October, which I'd be curious to see that one. The Blu-ray looks great, so I'm curious to see how much we can make that upgraded. Other than that, how's everybody's week doing? Speaking of Criterion, sale is still ongoing. Anybody getting any amazing pickups this week? I got a couple earlier this month. There's a lot more that I want to get, but man, funds are tight. So I will say, first of all, thanks to Swift718, let's get this party started. Yeah, thanks for the $2 there. It's if I get enough, maybe I'll throw that to another Criterion. I appreciate that. I've got a lot that I'm looking at right now. Let's see. Jeff is here. What's going on, Jeff? Antoine, my man, how we doing? Mitchell, what's up? Eric, and then of course Swift is here, like I said. Terry, hey. Anthony, what's going on? Sardis, my friend, how are you? Mitchell got Pink Flamingos. That is one of the couple that I got earlier this month. That is a great choice. I need to rewatch that for sure. Swift got 18 Criterions. Good gosh, man. That is a great haul. Anthony says, I will dig into Criterion sale until the end of the month. Funds are tight. Absolutely. This week. Dave, what's going on? Oh, Sardis got Severin in. Nice. Very nice. What's going on, JJ? Hoping to shop this weekend. Thanks to some recent gifts. Nice. Yeah, Terry just had a birthday. So, again, happy late birthday. What's going on, Video Man and Dancing Queen? John's here. What's up? And my sister, hey. Oh, Sardis got his computer back. Nice. What happened, man? I know that I think that was just last week that broke down on you, right? Everything good now? So yeah, lots going on right now. It seems like there is, again, a lot of announcements rolling out, but not a lot of like the biggest ones, obviously. Last week we had a huge week with announcements. And on that front, I actually have a question for everybody, because I know that you guys follow Disconnected News for all of the announcements and stuff like that. And I used to pretty much only do the boutiques. And then some of the bigger studio titles I'd throw in every so often. Question for everybody. Do you want to know about every single catalog release? Should I share every single one during these announcements so that we can go over them? Should I share them on Instagram and all that stuff so that everybody can see them? Or should we mostly just stick to the boutiques on here? What do you think? I've been mulling that around, because like today and yesterday, we got this massive influx of Sony titles coming, and they're mostly these catalog titles that I feel like not a lot of people really pay attention to, but maybe that's because an account like mine is not sharing all of them. So yeah, I'd be curious to see what do you guys think? Should I share every single catalog title that I come across, or mostly just the boutiques? Let me know in the comments. Let's see. Sardis says no purchases till next month. Got at least a couple weeks then, huh? Wouldn't connect to internet. Weird. I'm glad you got that fixed. So Dave also got his Severin order. Very nice. I did not get a Severin order this time, so I'm really happy seeing everybody get their stuff in. The Bridget LaHaye titles are certainly interesting. I definitely want some of them eventually, but man, it is a tight year for sure. So much going on. Obviously, inflation is killing a lot of people, and we're seeing that in some of these prices rising. And yeah, it's interesting to just see, these rising prices, how these boutiques are going to be able to keep their prices in line with everybody being able to purchase. So it's a tough time, and people are already complaining about things like the Vinegar Syndrome prices. So, how much higher can they get before people get priced out? It's a great question. Anyways, we got some interesting things to talk about tonight, and I had a couple questions this week, so I want to let's just dive right into it, huh? I've given everybody a good 5 minutes to join in. Let's take a look. So the first one we got this week, coming later this summer from Fractured Visions in the UK, we are getting another release of The Scary of 61st. Now, this came out as a VSP release from Vinegar Syndrome, and this was a very divisive title for sure. And not a lot of people are into this, but I mean, I could tell that this was a really well-made movie. I just wasn't in the demographic. I did watch it, so yeah, it was decent. I'd say. Video Manon says 1 liter diesel is $5 to $6 right now. Yikes! Yeah, that's a lot. Josephine, hello, reconnected. Started listening to podcast a few weeks. Nice, thank you. And then said Tuesday I watched Thrashin' with Josh Brolin. Very nice. Let's see. Mitchell says everything came in good condition except the book. Did the book come in damaged, or is that coming from France still? Because I know some people, I think it was if you didn't get the autographed copy, it was coming straight from Pulse. Curious. Yeah, I hope everything came in all right for you. That always stinks when it comes in damage. Also, Fractured Visions, thanks, I think, to Ice, one of the viewers of the channel. He asked them this question and said, hey, what's going on with your release of Friend? And they posted an update here, and they said, we're sorry to say that we've had to delay our release, but the good news is it's because we're working on a new master. We're sorry for the delay, but we hope you'll agree it'll be worth it. Here's a look at the new artwork by the awesome at Tommy Pocket. Now, I got to admit, this artwork looks great. And I am super, super interested to see what else they put on here. This is one that really needed a new master, so I'm glad they're doing it. Mitchell got a damaged corner. That sucks. I'm sorry. And then All That Is Man says it's hot in Arizona for sure. It is gross outside. I think I shared with everybody that my mom just recently started staying with us, and she was from Utah. And obviously, it's a little cooler there. In the summer, it gets pretty hot. But she showed up, and I don't keep my house, like, super cool because it is a lot to keep cool here. And my thermostat's normally at, like, 73-ish, 74. She closed, get this, she closed the vents down here in her room and was walking around in a jacket still. And that was lasting a good, like, 3 weeks. And now that she's gotten used to it, she came in today going, oh God, it's so hot. I'm like, we've been trying to tell you to take off the jacket. Yeah, it's gross outside for sure. We got finally the release dates and details on the next Blue Underground title, which is coming on October 25th in 4K. We are getting Quiet Days in, I believe this is pronounced Clichy or Clichy. I am honestly not sure. I've never heard this said out loud. And yeah, I would love to know how to say this properly. And they did share the other artwork. I believe this is the slipcover art. And then on the inside, we're going to get this art, which you'll see there's 3 little pieces of censorship here because this one supposedly has a lot of nudity. A whole lot of nudity. So this is, like I said, October 25th, and some details on here. World premiere, new 4K 16-bit restoration from the recently located uncensored original fine-grain negative. All prior transfers were from a vintage 35mm theatrical print. So this is the uncensored. So this is a big deal for this title. Limited edition embossed and uncensored slipcover featuring alternate new artwork pictured below at the right, and a reversible sleeve with the classic artwork in the first pressing only. And for extras, we got Songs of Clichy, interview with Country Joe McDonald, Dirty Books, Dirty Movies, Barney Rosette on Henry Miller, interview with Henry Miller's editor and publisher, Barney Rosette, And then new deleted scenes for 6 minutes long, theatrical trailer, poster stills, book cover gallery, and court documents. And a pre-order for this title will be coming soon. Now, I have never seen this one, but everybody that has, and I believe, if I remember right, I think Sardis said that he had watched it and I thought it was pretty good. Everybody seems to think that this is a really good title. And as I always say, Blue Underground, best 4Ks in the business, like not even close to anybody else. They are leagues above and beyond. There are a couple singular titles from other labels that get kind of close, but as a catalog, Blue Underground is top notch for 4K. Literally the best picture in the entire industry when it comes to these 4Ks. And if you watch even just one of their catalog 4Ks, you'll probably agree. They took something like Maniac that I did not expect to look very different in 4K. And my goodness, that release of Maniac looks incredible. Let's see. Jeff says, seems like a strange Blue Underground release. And I agree. This is one that I did not see coming from them. And I'm curious to see how this sells. If they can keep the 4K brand going with a release like this, because everything else so far has been very cult. You know, House by the Cemetery and Maniac and Zombie and all of that. This is very different, clearly. God Told Me To, Quiet Rob just brought up. A lot of people are getting in and they say it looks, Quiet Rob says it looks amazing in 4K. I've not got that one yet. Again, funds are tight, but yeah, I can't wait to see that. God Told Me To is who I almost made a bold statement about Cohen. Maybe I should think about that first. You know, now that I think about it, it's probably top at least 4 or 5 Cohen for me. Yeah, I can say that. Now, I really hope someday we get Q the Winged Serpent in 4K. Obviously, the stop motion monster in Q is not going to look amazing, but there's a lot that you could look great, that you could make look great on that title in 4K. And it's just a fun movie. For those that haven't seen it, really check out Q the Winged Serpent. I think that was Shout Factory. Is that Shout that released that one the first time on Blue? Somebody remind me there. I don't see them necessarily putting that out in 4K, although I wish they would. It does seem like it would fit in with Blue Underground, though. And next up, we got one of the Kino releases, The Strange Love of Martha Ives with Barbara Stanwyck. This is coming on September 20th, remastered in HD by Paramount from a 4K scan of the 35mm fine-grain print. Audio commentary by author and film historian Alan K. Rode. They seem to be doing commentaries on most of their releases right now, which is really nice. Thanks, Anthony. Yeah, shout for Q. Q's a good movie. By the way, not trying to be rude, I did a lot of interviews at work over the last 10 days. I feel like I'm getting this really bad sore throat, so I just took a cough drop. I'm just trying to keep it all down. It has been a very talky week for me, more so than normal. And I talk a lot for my job. But man, I am interviewing remotely some analysts for a position in Kansas that would be under me. And oh boy, these interviews have not gone well at all. It's been a rough week. Let's see. Next up, another Kino. We are getting So Proudly We Hail. This one is with Claudette Colbert and Paulette Goddard. Brand new 2K master and a new audio commentary by Julie Kurgo. I believe there's one more Kino. Yeah. Bright Victory is coming September 13th with the brand new 2K master. New audio commentary by Gary Girani. Don't know how to say that last name. One of those, I'm sure. Video Manon says, Quiet Days and Cliché is a Danish film that has been banned forever. It will sell well. It is one of the most banned titles during time. Wow. Most banned titles during that time from Europe. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, Chameleon Discs are delayed. Not really surprised there. It is their first couple titles. I'm sure they'll get it under their belt, but man. Eric's here. What's going on, Eric? He says Friend is a good flick. Yeah, I'm really curious to see how they're able to make that remaster look. And next up, yet another Kino, The Last Train from Madrid from 1937 with Dorothy Lamour. That one is coming on September 20th. New commentary by entertainment and journalist author Brian Reisman. John says God Told Me To is Cohen's best. Maybe. Cohen has a hell of a catalog. If you haven't, and I know John has, so I'm certainly not speaking to John here. So I know John has taken the time to do this, but if you have never dove into Cohen at all, strongly suggest, first of all, the King Cohen documentary, but then on top of that, really go into his filmography, because he wrote so many films, he directed so many films, he has made so many movies and had such an impact on the industry. It is ridiculous. Yeah, Cohen is amazing. Next up, coming again from Kino, this is the release details. We had this one announced prior. This is Dream Child coming on September 20th. New HD transfer by MGM. New audio commentary by Lee Gambin. And this is one I don't think I've ever seen, but I'm really dying to see it, especially because of this little piece in the bottom here. Alice in Wonderland characters designed and performed by Jim Henson's Creature Shop. Most of you on here know I love the Muppets. I love everything about that coming up. And yeah, I can't wait to see this. Let's see here. Next up is Ghostwatch. This is an interesting one because I think we talked about this last week. So the last broadcast was released in the UK by 101 Films. And when they did that, they said, hey, this is also coming out in the US from 101 Films. And then there was no news about it. And then just recently, they dropped it out of nowhere. Came out with the US release. It's a region-free disc. So the last broadcast is here. Seemingly 101 Films is here. But they're not really marketing anything towards the US. But then they announced Ghostwatch. This is coming in the US from 101 Films. This is from 1992 and one of the most controversial TV programs of a generation. This is basically like the horror version of War of the Worlds for the UK, where people saw the broadcast and believed it, sort of thing. I loved it. When this got announced, somebody commented, now you can look at Britain and look at how dumb we are when we've been looking at the US for how dumb they were since War of the Worlds. So yeah, this is one of those things. This is a TV film, and it's supposed to be amazing. A lot of people are genuinely scared of it. I've never seen it. It's from 92, and it sounds right up my alley. Although, because it was for TV, it's probably fairly tame. A lot of people seem to remember it from their childhood and have fond memories, but there are quite a few people out there who are not super into it. So let's take a look when that comes out. That is coming October 25th, right before Halloween. Next up from Kino, we are getting 1989's Valmont with a brand new 2K master. This is just the classic Kino Lorber initial announcement with no details. All we know is it's going to have a brand new master. That's it. This one's with Annette Bening, Colin Firth, Meg Tilly, Fairuza Balk, Jeffrey Jones, and Henry Thomas. And it looks like one of those I want to be sensual titles, but pretty tame, to say the least. Next one. This is one of those big catalog titles that I alluded to. We are finally getting from Sony this October 4th, Fright Night in 4K. Now, this has only been announced, as far as I'm aware, in this Steelbook so far. It has not been announced as coming in a regular, slipped 4K release. However, I'm assuming this will. This is such a big title. There's no way this just comes in a Steelbook. This is a big deal. So Fright Night has needed a good remaster, especially in the US, for quite some time. It was released previously by Twilight Time, went out of print, I believe, like the first month it was released. I don't remember how long it took to sell out, but it was one of those ones that went quickly. So this is certainly welcomed. It was released in the UK by, I want to say, Eureka, I think. So a lot of people have that release of it, but oh man, is this going to be a massive improvement. Let's take a look at this. Obviously, this is the original Fright Night from 1985. So on the 4K disc, you get the feature scanned from the OCN and presented in 4K with Dolby Vision, all new Dolby Atmos audio, and then there's the original Dolby Stereo plus 5.1. No matter what setup you got, you can use that. Blu-ray feature disc, feature presented in high def, sourced from the 4K master, so you get the new remastered version no matter which disc you watch. And then new deleted scene storyboards. Tom Holland guides us through the film's only deleted scene using his personal pre-production storyboards. And then there's a whole bunch other new and legacy features on that disc. And then on a features disc that is only for special features. So this is going to be 3 discs total. New Fright Night 35th anniversary script read, an anniversary cast reunion and script reading featuring writer-director Tom Holland and special guests including Rosario Dawson, Jason Patrick, and many more. And then new, The Queer Lens, Brian Fuller in conversation with Amanda Bierce, a candid discussion between Fright Night aficionado Brian Fuller and Fright Night star Amanda Bierce about the Gothic's queer roots, the film's queer subtext, and its metaphorical power. And then there is even more new and legacy features on that disc. So this is just huge. There's going to be so much on here that I could not even fit it all in the Instagram post. I had to delete some of it and put "and even more" because there is so much. It's huge. This is going to be a great release. Let's see. Video Man says, I want Kino to announce Dangerous Minds. Yes, please. I love that movie. Girl Fight, Digstown, and Mighty Ducks on Blu-ray. Only films I'm really missing from America that I need. Kino won't get Mighty Ducks because that is a Disney Club exclusive. Anybody that's in the Disney Movie Club can probably get that on Blu-ray for you and sent to you. If you want, email me. I might be able to help you out, Video Man. Let's see. Dead Sea Life. They have not announced a non-steelbook yet. I do imagine one will be coming, but this is the big news that they wanted to put out. So they are really hitting that steelbook hard. No idea if there will be a standard, but I imagine there will be. We finally got news. Arrow had kind of been quiet about this, so we didn't know if this was coming. We are getting a 12 Monkeys 4K disc replacement. Now, if you remember, they had some complaints and discovered that there was a very quick repeated scene in this film that people did not notice, and it was on the original Blu-ray release as well. So this has... yes, this is getting a replacement disc. The link is in the description on this one. If you need that, make sure that you put it in there. Video Man and yes, Mighty Ducks, all 3 of them, D2 and D3, all 3 have an official Blu-ray release from Disney themselves in the Disney Movie Club. So you just got to be a member of the club, and somebody can get those for you. And they're normally pretty cheap. God, I think if you've fulfilled your subscription for Disney, and then sometimes they give out discounts. You can get them for as low as like $10 each. It's not bad at all. Yeah, oh, you know what? I can reach it from here. Look at this. The Mighty Ducks, you can see at the top there, Disney Blu-ray exclusive from the Disney Movie Club. Yep, on Blu-ray. I don't think, let's see. I don't think there's any features listed, but yeah, it's here. If you don't have proof of purchase, they want you to write your name and date on the face of the Blu-ray. Interesting. Which side is the face? I would imagine the side that you can read, because they want to see the title. Otherwise it could be any disc when you send the picture. Yeah. And yes, Mitchell's correct. If you bought it from Arrow or Zavvi, they are automatically sending you a replacement. It's if you bought it anywhere else, like Orbit or Diabolic or anywhere else. Yeah, then you'll have to write in. Next one. If you haven't seen it, I guess this is a good time to bring up. I did put out an interview with the amazing Sam Deegan earlier this week, and I really enjoyed that time. I got a lot of good feedback on that interview. It was a unique conversation. It was something that I really did not expect to see talked about the way that we did, but I enjoyed it. If you haven't watched it, please give it a watch. It is up there on the channel and will be forever. Next up from Kino, coming on September 20th, The Turning Point with William Holden and Edmund O'Brien and Alexis Smith. This one is an HD remaster from Paramount from a 4K scan. Audio commentary by Alan Rode, and that's about it. This one's from 52, and not the other Turning Point. There was a couple people that were confused when this one got announced. Yeah, it is the one from 52. Severin is having a sale over at MVD directly, and this went live 3 days ago, and the sale is going through July 18th. And there are people I forgot a word there. There are people that have already gotten their orders from this sale. So a lot of people, they were commenting on the Facebook post, I'm just going to go direct through Severin. You can get free shipping if you buy enough. MVD is $5.99 for shipping, but people got their stuff in literally 48 hours. So, I mean, 6 of one, half dozen of another. Do you want to make sure that you get it quicker? A lot of people really appreciate MVD shipping as well. So, yeah, there's very comparable prices, and everything is fairly cheap. Let's take a look here. Dead Sea Life is saying Lawrence of Arabia might end up Steelbook only. So if you want Fright Night, not Friday night, I would not wait. I agree there. What's going on, Ken? It very well could end up an exclusive. And speaking of Lawrence of Arabia, isn't this Steelbook that they dropped, isn't this beautiful? I really love this design. I just got this. Really good looking steel. And next up, Mondo Macabro. We got a little update from them. So first, shipping on the latest 3 that they just had the pre-order for, it was pushed back a week. He had hoped to have them in hand already, but the replicator is taking their time on one of the packaging aspects. They say that they hope to be done and ready to ship by the end of the week. And that was hopefully by the end of this week, so literally tomorrow. Hopefully shipping will begin sometime next week, but just remember, it will take 2 to 3 weeks to get all of them out. And this last pre-order round did very well for Mondo Macabro. They had 1 or 2 that their pre-order rounds did not go super well. This last one went like gangbusters. Things were selling out very quickly. They sold all of their bundles. It was a great round, period. And the next round, he says, I can now confirm that our next batch will be 4 new titles, not just 3. This is a lot for Mondo Macabro. Usually it's 3 at the most. I can now confirm that this will be 4 new titles, 2 of them European, 2 Japanese. 2 announced, they are In the Folds of the Flesh and House of Terrors, and 2 that are unannounced. It will probably be on sale at the end of August and then ship in September. One of the unannounced titles has never gotten a home video release in the US or in any Western country, and one is a DVD upgrade. So this is pretty dang exciting. Let's see. Mitchell, I do think it is the slip that caused it, probably. Dead Sea Life just watched Lawrence of Arabia. Looks sick. Nice. Sardis, let me know what you think of Perdita. That is genuinely one of my favorite Severin titles ever. Ever. Next up, we got a new Paramount Presents announcement. This one is coming September 27th, and this is an interesting release. We are getting The War of the Worlds and When Worlds Collide. The caveat here is the War of the Worlds is going to be a 4K UHD disc, and When Worlds Collide is going to be a Blu-ray. So they are getting more deep into the UHD disc for Paramount Presents. This is going to be spine number 35. This is already available to pre-order, coming at the end of September. And I think a lot of people got War of the Worlds fairly recently because it had a couple releases, Imprint, Criterion. But this is one, if you want the UHD, this is one that you can pick up, and you get the extra title there as well. Next one, we started getting our umbrella releases announced for this one, and these are all coming in September, and this is a big deal, this first one. So, Martyrs from 2008. Now, as you all know, I've got a Patreon. I've got a Discord where you can go and discuss movies. We discuss purchasing. We discuss all kinds of those things. Martyrs. We've been talking about Martyrs. Now, Martyrs is one of those titles that is really well made, but a lot of people say it doesn't have a lot of rewatchability. So I'm going to throw out there for me the way that I explained to, I think it was Foo for Thought, who's usually in the comments. I said, Martyrs to me is a sad title, but is not a depressing title. And the difference there, I'll rewatch a sad movie a lot. Well, not a lot, because I don't rewatch a lot of titles, but I'll rewatch a movie that is sad. I genuinely struggle to rewatch a movie that is depressing. Now, the difference for me there is something like The Boy in the Striped Pajamas is depressing as hell. I don't want to throw that in, once a year and, take a ride on the suicide train. It's something that I can feel sad. I don't want to feel overwhelmed with grief and depression. So Martyrs, let's throw this back up here. Martyrs does have some rewatchability for me. What's going on, Flex? The Tuesday show, we are doing every other Tuesday now. This last Tuesday we were off. We will be back next Tuesday. Cam, what's going on? I don't rewatch Leaving Las Vegas. Actually, that's what I probably could rewatch. I'm more speaking on like the difference between Requiem for a Dream and Irreversible. I don't feel the same way as a lot of people. I think Irreversible is a rewatcher for me, when Requiem is a lot less of a rewatcher. Irreversible is much more infuriating, obviously, because of the content. But man, Requiem is downright depressing, period. But this one, let's go into this a little bit. For those that have never seen it, Martyrs is one of the French New Extremity wave that they went through back in 2000. God, what year did High Tension come out? Was that 2005, I want to say? 2004, 5, 6, somewhere in there. So High Tension came out, and it kicked off this new French extremity wave, basically. And they had these genre films that were coming out for a good 8 years in a row from France, and it include Martyrs, High Tension, Inside, the movie Them, which is great. Frontiers, that's another good one. And a lot of these were just on Shudder recently, so a lot of people discovered them for the first time. They are really great. A lot of them are depressing. They're very harrowing. They're sad. They are gory. They're very extreme. Martyrs is a good example of that. And was High Tension 2003? Jeez. Anyways, this one might be, I think in my opinion, this one is the top of the new French extremity, and Martyrs has not had a good, widely available release. Now, this is coming from Umbrella, which is in Australia, and this is coming as part of their Beyond Genres line. So this is coming in Blu-ray with the slipcover that looks like this. And this is the back of the slip. It's got some special features on here that we're going to go through in just a second. But they also have this big bundle here. And is there anything else here? No. So this bundle comes with a slipcase for this release. It's going to be like one of those, the slipcover release goes in the slipcase, sort of like an imprint release or one of the larger Vinegar Syndrome releases. And if you buy it from the store, I don't know if they're sold out on this yet. They only did 250 of these, but it's going to come with a exclusive to the Umbrella store, a collection of interviews, experiences, and art perfect bound 48-page book with custom artwork and a full art slipcase for the Blu-ray and book, and 8 lobby cards and a reversible poster. So if you get just the Blu-ray, it's not going to come with those things. It will come with everything else. But this movie's amazing. For those of you that have not seen it, I highly recommend it. It is one of the more sad films. It is, like I said, it is gory. It is one that it's not like torture porn gory, but it is very bloody. And some of the extras on here. First off, I want to lead with one thing. This is region free. They are advertising it as region free. So the fact that this is going to have a Blu-ray release in the States is a very big deal. That being said, I feel like the fact that this is getting a new release, I would not be surprised at all if we are about to get an announcement for Martyrs coming out in the US from a US label. Now, who would it be? In my mind, there are a few more likely candidates. Would Scream Factory do it? Maybe. They did Raw. That is pretty dang close. They did something like The Nightingale, which has a couple very harrowing scenes. But these newer French extreme titles, they don't really feel like the rest of the Scream Factory catalog. Now, I could very easily see Severn putting this out. I think it would fit well under the Severn banner. I think that they could do a very nice release of it. But the big thing is the rights on this one have been up in the air for quite some time. So even if a U.S. distributor does not put this out, at least you can purchase this and have it be region free. And this will be in Orbit. This will be in Grindhouse Video. This will be in Cinema Classics. It should be coming to Diabolic. And this is going to be a big release for them. I guarantee you they are going to sell a lot of them. So yeah, keep your eye out. If you've never watched this, this is a big one. Some of the extras here. There's a new audio commentary by film historian Dr. Lindsay Hallam, BFI at Home Horror a la Francois online panel with Anna Boguskaya, Alexandra West, and Dr. Lindsay Hallam. Organic Chronicles, The Making of Martyrs. Interview with the director Pascal Lagier. Makeup interview with Benoit Lestang. New French Extremity trailer reel. And then all the same thing as normal. Steele's Gallery, poster gallery, theatrical trailer, teaser trailer, and all that other stuff. So not the super expansive release, especially if you're buying the standard release of it, but a really great release. And just from the look of it, highly, highly recommend this. Nerd is asking, did High Tension get a new transfer? None that I've heard of yet. But if this is kicking off the intro into some of these getting better releases, I would be more than willing to bet that that's one of the ones that people are going for, because the old transfer of that was hot garbage. Yeah, High Tension really needs a new transfer. Inside never got an official Blu-ray release in the US or a few other places. In fact, did Inside even get a Blu-ray release in the UK or France? Now that I think about it, I'm not sure that it did. I believe Frontiers did. But again, I don't think that one ever got a US release on Blu. And then the movie Them never got a US release on Blu. These are films that are highly lauded that I think would sell very well here. So hopefully soon. If this is the door opening, I can see this coming soon. What's going on, my friend Marvin? Glad to see you tonight. Thanks for continuing to be a patron and supporting the channel. Again, Umbrella. Diving even further, we are getting Mask from 1985. Not Jim Carrey's Mask. This is Eric Stoltz's Mask. Of course, this is the movie with Cher and Sam Elliott. And this looks like a good release. It's got the theatrical cut and the director's cut, and then an interview with Peter Bogdanovich. Coming September 7th from Umbrella. It's a good movie. It's about all I'll say about that one. Doesn't deserve the long diatribe like Martyrs did. Umbrella is releasing Beyond the Wasteland from 2021. Whole bunch of deleted scenes in this movie. I don't know a whole lot about this one, except that it is related to Mad Max. So this says, shot in Australia, USA, Italy, France, Germany, and Japan. Beyond the Wasteland follows the fans from around the world who go to extraordinary lengths in the name of Mad Max. Transporting us into the world of Mad Max, we explore the eccentric world of the fans, their costumes, and their machines as these oddball fans find their place amongst the Mad Max community. The documentary also follows original cast member Bertrand Cadart as he continues his fight against stage 4 leukemia and travels from his home on the Sunshine Coast to the Wasteland, the desert location of Mad Max 2 in Silverton, for the last time. Beyond the Wasteland not only celebrates life, but the ability to change oneself through passion. So I love Ozploitation, just like John just said. Umbrella's been doing great with stuff like that, and this one looks incredible. This is a documentary, and the Mad Max stuff, I really like a lot of the stuff behind Mad Max, and George Miller is brilliant, period. And I'm curious to check this out. This is the type of thing I've talked about on here. I really like documentaries that give me, this snapshot of a culture that I would not find myself a part of, and just listen and learn and discover and kind of like live vicariously through them, even if just for 90 minutes. So yeah, this one looks great. I'm super into this. Speaking of Ozploitation, we are getting A Dangerous Summer from the Ozploitation Classics line. Again, coming September 7th. This is with James Mason and Tom Skerritt, and exclusive to the Umbrella web store, the first 100 orders will receive a full-size replica daybill poster, and includes a collection of 8 reproduction lobby cards, new audio essay on filmmaker Quentin Masters by author and film historian David Del Valle, new interview with co-writer director Quentin Masters, and then That Dangerous Summer, a dramatized documentary produced by Jim McElroy and directed by Brian Trenchard Smith, who did one of my favorite Arrow releases, Dead End Drive-In. New Filmco trailer reel, The VHS Experience, and then 2006 interview featurette with cast members Wendy Hughes and Kim Deacon. This is the front of the slipcover here. And then here is the entire package, this daybill poster in the back right. That is what you're going to get if you order directly from the store. If you pre-order from Diabolic or Grindhouse and Orbit, the rest of this package is what you're going to get. I will say, and I know John will back me up on this, the Ozploitation Classics line from Umbrella has been hit after hit after hit. I think, does this say what number this is? Let me see. It looks like that's 18, I think, down there. It's kind of hard to see. I can. Yeah, 18. 18 on this one. They have stayed very true to the true Ozploitation classics in this line, and they've released some really great titles. If you were not checking out Umbrella's Ozploitation classics, this is probably a pretty good time to jump in. They do some really, really great work, and because it's an Australia company releasing Australia exploitation titles, they really, what's a good way to say this? Like, you can feel the pride coming out through these, because they want to make them something that, hey, we are presenting these titles from our country, and you can tell they're just really well made. Deathstalker and Deathstalker 2 are coming to 101 Films in the UK only on August 22nd. This is a double feature, so you get both films, and you get a commentary with the director and some other people on both. And yeah, looks like a decent release, I believe. Looking at it, I think it's the same as what was on the Shout Factory release, but that was a limited title. So if you don't have that and you want these releases, this is the best way to get them. It'll be cheap. It will likely not be region free, but it'll be cheap. And hopefully, it's 2022. Hopefully most of you are region free. Looking at you, John. I know you're working on it. Next up, We got release details from Kino on Tropic Thunder coming in 4K on September 13th. This one gets a brand new HDR Dolby Vision remastered by Paramount, supervised and approved by Ben Stiller himself, and no new features. We are going to have the theatrical cut in 4K, and then the director's cut in Blu-ray, remastered in 4K by Paramount still, so it'll be a remaster on both. But this is still a really stacked release. When I say no new features, it's fine, honestly. The people in this film are very, very famous compared to when they released this, obviously. And a lot of them were famous then, but they are even bigger nowadays, obviously. This is the reverse of the other artwork, and the slipcover art will be one of the options too. But if you're getting the slip, you don't need that on the inside. So I'm glad that you can get both pieces of art there. This is a wonderful movie, and I really think everybody should pick this up. Just show Kino that we can support the 4K, but overall, this is one of the best comedies of all time. All time. Highly recommend it if you've never seen it. Lionsgate is keeping their 4K steelbooks coming and releasing 310 to Yuma. This is the 310 to Yuma from 2007 with Russell Crowe and Christian Bale. Now, I will issue a word of warning on this release because they have not announced a new remaster on this one, so it is likely the same 4K disc as was previously released for 310 to Yuma. It's not good. The 4K release of this is bad. It looks about the same as the previous Blu-ray, and in a lot of scenes the Blu-ray actually looks better. There is a lot of DNR on the 4K of 310 to Yuma, and if there is not a new remaster, I do not recommend watching the 4K. Just keep it and watch the Blu-ray on this one because, oh man, it's bad. That being said, if you are a packaging collector or geek, I adore these Lionsgate Steelbooks. I just wish that we could get upgrades on some of these 4Ks. Like this one was one of the like original 4K releases. We could use a new master of this one or another pass without the DNR. It would be nice to see it. Also throwing it out there, it's not that expensive. I believe you can get it now on Best Buy, and it's like $20. So if you are just a Steelbook collector, which I mean, I just showed you, I'm guilty. I've got quite a few Steelbooks. It's good art, and the Lionsgate Steelbooks have been fantastic. But if you were really wanting the movie, you could probably save your money and just get the Blu-ray. But this 4K is not great. Hate to say it. Speaking of Steelbooks, we don't have a ton of release details on this one yet. At least when I posted this, we did not. I need to check again because it's been a day or two. But we are getting this September 20th in 4K in a Best Buy exclusive Steelbook, the original Poltergeist. This is some of the most divisive artwork I have ever seen. Some people think that this is the worst art that they have ever seen on a Steelbook, and other people are pretty excited. I even saw somebody on Twitter suggest that whoever designed this, they think that they were going for the iconic Jaws look with like the danger below them in the middle, and then the female in the middle of the scene, and then the title up above, which makes sense. It is kind of similar to that. And obviously the pool scene is... It's not one of the most iconic from the film, and it certainly doesn't look like this art displays, but it's still a good and important scene, and it's really well known, especially for the whole real skeleton aspect of it. But yeah, some people are railing against the Steelbook design. I'm into it. I like it. I don't think it's the best, and I think that they could have done a lot better for the Steelbook. That being said, it's Poltergeist in 4K. They probably could have put it on a black Steelbook, and I would have been excited and still wanted to pre-order because it's Poltergeist in 4K. This is a big deal. This is like just like Fright Night, this is like a pillar of 80s horror, and we are getting it this fall in 4K. And if you are a catalog release person, this fall is going to be expensive for 4K titles. We are getting so many titles. Sony is suddenly coming out with all kinds of catalog titles. If you are 4K ready, if you are a catalog release fan, good luck, because they are wanting you to spend a lot of money this year. Next up, another 4K catalog title coming from Kino on September 27th. We are getting another one of the best comedies of the last 15 years or whatever. 2008. So 14, 15 years. We are getting In Bruges. Disc 1 is going to have a brand new HDR Dolby Vision Master, color graded and approved by the cinematographer, triple layered UHD 100 disc. And then disc 2 is going to have the brand new master, color graded by the cinematographer again, with all the extras. And as far as I can tell, none of these are new. This is just like the release we just talked about, Tropic Thunder, from them. But this is going to be a solid release. In Bruges is a beautifully shot film that is probably going to shine in 4K. And I cannot wait to see this one in. I really hope I'm able to get this. It's one of my favorites, and Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson, especially, their chemistry is amazing in this. They put on a hell of a show. This was also released not in 4K, but it was also released by Second Sight, and they put out a killer release. But this is a movie that was begging for 4K, I think, and the Dolby Vision on this is going to pop. I guarantee it. Dead Sea Life, that is hilarious. I really hope we do get an all-black Steelbook for Spinal Tap in 4K. Let's see. Chester says, more interested in The Hitcher. Any word on a release date? No, but they had originally said by the end of this year. And they just, I don't think it was last week. I think it was the week prior. They just went over announcements for August. And I would imagine if they have stuff coming in September and October, which with what they've announced, undoubtedly, they're going to have something there, such as Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 4K. That we are probably going to get a release date for that soon. And same goes for Martin. I know that they were working on everything while they were waiting on the rights for that second cut, but now that they don't have it, I do hope that we get a release date for that soon. It's supposedly also supposed to be before the end of the year, but if that's the case, it is going to be a busy year for Second Sight. I think they took like 2 months off this year, but all of a sudden in August, they've got 3 titles coming out and a lot more coming for the rest of the year. There's probably stuff they still haven't announced. It's going to be a busy year for sure. And Terry, completely agree. I would love Phone Booth in 4K. Does not get enough love, especially nowadays. Next one up is the last one to talk about. Coming on September 27th from Kino is Hudson Hawk with Bruce Willis. I don't see any new special features on here, and this was just very recently. Like, let me look at the release date of the other one. This just came out from Mill Creek. Let's see. That one came out February 11th of 2020. So we are at it won't even be 2 years and 7 months when this drops. 2 years and 7 months from one company to another. That is very quick. And for there to be no new features, this is not getting, as far as I can tell, there is no information here about a new scan, anything like that. This is probably the exact same release. So this is just for people that missed out on that Mill Creek release. Hudson Hawk is an odd film too. Let me show the more iconic art. This is the new art for Kino, but this is the one a lot of people remember. This was the poster art back then. Hudson Hawk is again an odd movie. Not one. This one's kind of hard to like recommend to a lot of people too, because it's Bruce Willis and not necessarily at his finest. Are there any big fans of Hudson Hawk out there? I'm curious because I haven't seen this one in a long time because I remember not loving it. I wonder if my 2022 eyes would like this anymore. And it is kind of like it says right here, Bruce Willis and Annie McDowell star in the funniest action adventure comedy ever. I don't know that I put the word adventure in there, and there's some action for sure, but it feels like the comedy's a little out of place in this one from what I remember. Let's see. Willis is Eddie the Hawk Hawkins, the world's most famous cat burglar who, after 10 years in prison, is ready to go straight. But it's not going to be easy for the Hawk. The mob and the CIA have conspired to blackmail Eddie and his partner, Aiello, into stealing 3 Da Vinci masterpieces from the most heavily guarded museums in the world. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. While trying to steal the goods, Hawk falls in love with a beautiful but schizophrenic nun, played by McDowell, and is relentlessly pursued by the greedy and powerful Minerva and Darwin Mayflower, who want the masterpieces as part of their twisted plot to ruin the world's economy. It's wall-to-wall action as the wisecracking Hawk attempts to save the world, win the girl, and have the last laugh. It is... I don't remember it being as good as that makes it sound, but it's funny, at least. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen it. Next up, we always go into what is coming out next week that I may have forgotten to share recently. Oh, Jeff, completely agree. We really need another release of The Last Boy Scout, something with a good remaster. All right, next week. This is for July 19th, so 5 days a week. 5 days a week? I can't speak again. Criterion, Devil in a Blue Dress 4K with Denzel, Drive My Car coming out, and then God Told Me To in 4K from Blue Underground, although that one is shipping already from a lot of places. Orbit, Diabolic, Cinema Classics, they all have that one readily available, I believe. The Men in Black 4K Steelbook, a lot of people are getting that one. That one's in. Film Noir, The Dark Side of Cinema 8 from Kino comes out next week. The, let's see, the Bob's Burgers movie Steelbook is coming from Best Buy next week. And that one, I believe, I've not seen any updates on this one. I think this is the only way to get this film in 4K at the moment. It's getting a regular Blu-ray release, but if you want it in 4K, this Steelbook is the only way. We are also getting from Warner Archive here the Adventures of Don Juan, and then from Shout Factory, Lion of the Desert in 4K and The Message in 4K. MVD Rewind, Miami Blues. That is a re-release of the Shout Factory release of Miami Blues with Alec Baldwin, and that is a really great movie. Miami Blues, for those that have not seen it, highly recommend it. That's like Alec Baldwin at his best. Really, really fun movie. Scrolling down, the Arrow release of Hell High is coming, and then Good Burger, the Steelbook that's not 4K, just regular that's just regular Blu-ray. And then we are getting the JFK Revisited from Shout Factory, and Marshall Club from 88 Films in the US, and the standard release of RoboCop in 4K next week. Desperate Hours from MVD Rewind. The Righteous from Arrow. Now, The Righteous, this is one that I actually, I think a lot of you guys know this. I produced a couple podcasts, and we just did an episode of this recently and had the director on, and I can't wait to see this now. It sounds beyond intriguing. It's a modern film from 2021, done in black and white, and it sounds fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And then from Kino, the Maria Montez and John Hall collection is next week. Raging Fury from Arrowhead. Excuse me, man. I need some more water. Raging Fury is just the alt slipcover for Hell High. Natalie is coming from the Cohen Film Collection. Salt and Pepper and One More Time from Kino Lorber. Let's see. The Kid in 4K from 2019. The Sacred Spirit. Now, this art has changed since then, but that one is still coming. Love on the Dole from Indicator. Necrophiles, that is from Visual Vengeance. Requiem for a Village from Indicator. And that is the bulk of them. We're getting the standard of American Werewolf in London 4K. And then Zombie Island Massacre from Troma. But I think a lot of people already have the Vinegar Syndrome release of that one. And that is it for releases. So I had some people ask a couple questions. Let's see. I had one question about the Patreon this last week, and I had another question about Criterion. So a couple things I want to throw out there. Criterion first. The fact that people are worried about buying Criterions. That is something that came up, and I'm going to see if I can bring an example of both of these that I wanted to share. So this is a good example, and this is a good example. Okay, so I put out a video about, 5 or 6 days ago now. That was Criterions that I suggest you don't purchase. So these are 2 Criterions. We got Rouge and Secrets and Lies. This is a recent release from Criterion, and this is a film by Mike Lee. Don't remember what year Criterion put this out, but this is not super recent. Now, Rouge, on the back, let me see if I can get this to show up on camera. Right in front of my finger here. Yep, new 4K digital restoration. And then this one on the back, right in front of my finger, new 2K digital restoration. So, if you are looking to go 4K, which one of these would be more likely to be in UHD eventually? Clearly the one that says a new 4K restoration. This one being just a new 2K restoration when it came out. It is not likely that this is going to get a UHD release because they would have to do a whole brand new transfer plus an HDR upgrade. Now this one already had the 4K transfer. If this was going to get upgraded, they would have to do an HDR pass on it. And usually that would mean Dolby Vision. That is where most of the boutiques go, is with Dolby Vision. But they would have to do that to get it to UHD if they were going to have it have HDR, which most of them do. But the Mike Lee film, just being from a new 2K master, that is highly unlikely. Same goes for Arrow. A lot of people have said Arrow's just going to release their entire catalog. They are absolutely not going to put everything out in 4K. You can look back on what they released, what kind of a master it was, and find out, is this for sure going to come out in 4K? If it's not a new 4K master when it was originally released on Blu-ray, it is very, very unlikely that that's going to get a UHD anytime soon. Now, something like 12 Monkeys, a lot of people were unhappy with that because it came out on 4K just a few years after it came out on Blu-ray. I think it was like 5 years after. That had a brand new 4K master when it was released on Blu-ray. So it was very easy for them to put out the UHD. Criterion, we have not seen a lot of that because they've only been doing 4Ks for not even a full year yet. I think October or November, that'll be a year. So yeah, we've not seen their attempt of redoing many of these yet. Yeah. Any other questions on the master and upgrades and stuff like that, let me know. But that is how I tell on these. Like, do I want to invest? Not like as an actual investment where it's going to be worth something, but do I want to put $20 down on a film that is going to likely get a new UHD release in the next couple of years? Honestly, I'm all in on 4K. So if it's going to get a 4K, I really want the 4K instead. So I might be a little less likely to get it. Now, the reason I have Rouge is because I honestly don't see that one getting a 4K still. And if it does, I think I'll be all right with the Blu-ray on that one. So not too worried about that one. All right, the Patreon. I had a couple people ask me, because I had advertised the giveaway for the Patreon last month, if there were any more giveaways. And the answer is yes. If you have not checked out the Patreon page, link in the description below. I do a giveaway every single month if you are at the VIP tier. So if you give at that highest tier every single month, you are entered into a big boutique giveaway every single month. And I usually send out like 5 or 6 things with these. A couple months I've sent out like some vinyl. I sent out a hat from one of the boutiques. I do what I can to try to send out as much as I possibly can and still make it worth it for everybody. But even if you don't get in at that third, the highest tier, there are lots of things for the lower tiers. So the bottom tier, you still get access to all the Patreon videos. The middle tier, you are still able to get in the Discord where I do like stock updates and all that every single day. If Orbit restocks something or I find something super cheap online that's been out of print, I only post it there. I usually don't post it anywhere else. So That Patreon is below. If you want in on the giveaway for this month, you got to do it before the 20th of the month. So I do my drawing around the 20th or the 21st. So if you've not got in by then, you will not be able to be on there. SJ, going to see Black Phone tonight. Can you recommend your favorite movie review content creator? That's a great question. And actually, that's a question I can ask all of you. I saw the Black Phone last week. I liked it. I didn't love it. It's absolutely worth your time, SJ. Please still go see it. Support horror and movie in the theater and all that. I have been doing a lot of reviews on here. I've done like a handful. I've done 5 or 7, and nobody seems to care. And not that I'm just doing this all about views or money or by any means, because I've lost a lot of money doing this channel for everybody for sure. What is it about reviews? What are you looking for in reviews? Because these boutique releases, they're not modern films for the most part. Obviously, 1 out of every 10 or so is going to be something in the last 4 or 5 years. But for the most part, we're looking at like 70s and 80s. And, do you want more modern film content? Do you want these boutique reviews? Do you want reviews? From me, do you just want information? Are you coming here for the educational side of things? Because, yeah, nobody cares when I post a review on this channel. I'll get, when I post like Criterion's Not to Buy, that thing got like 1,000 views or something like that. But a review, I barely get like 100. Sardis, Patreon is a website that you go to, and you sign up through there, and then Discord is another full community. It's like a chat room community. And if you have a phone, or if you're just going to be on your desktop, you can open up the website for Discord and have it open and get notifications. So whenever we're having a conversation there, you'll get a pop-up saying that we're talking, and it'll notify you. And yeah, Patreon is not through YouTube, but it's a much easier way to have a community. YouTube really doesn't support something like that. So Patreon and Discord is the best way. And that's kind of why I do this, like sort of little behind the scenes here. I really do this to connect with people. I'm certainly not in this for money. There's no way I could be, because I'm never going to make money doing this necessarily. But the friends that I made doing this have been legitimate, like impactful friends. I've got multiple people in my Patreon that I've met in person. I'm actually going to meet another one this weekend. I can't wait. I'm meeting Cam, Nerd of the 80s, meeting him in just a couple days. So yeah, Patreon is not on YouTube, but it is a wonderful community for us. We would love to have you. Yeah, let me know in the reviews. If you're watching this tomorrow or the next day, put it in the comments. I would love to find out what you guys are seeking with reviews, because I like reviewing things and sharing my opinion, but yeah, it seems like you guys don't really want reviews from me for sure. Sardis, is it real-time conversations? Absolutely. I've got notifications during this that people are talking still. Yeah, I would love, there's, let's see, 1 2 3, like 5 or 6 messages during this stream, people in the community on Discord just talking. So yeah, they are all real time. We talk about our different takes on films, what's coming out in theaters, boutique releases. We compare them, talk about things we like, things we want to see on the channel. And the other thing, suddenly I've been known for interviewing these other boutiques, and I give exclusive to my patrons in the Discord. You can suggest questions, and I do my best to ask those during these interviews. And a little, again, behind the scenes, I've got 2 interviews coming up next week, and I've allowed my Discord to give questions for that, and I've gotten a couple good ones. So it is great. Quiet says, I follow you for the great information provided on boutiques and most importantly, physical media. All right. So maybe instead of reviews, maybe I just do like an educational deep dive into what's on the disc rather than my opinion on it. That would help. Jeremy says, it's a super fun Discord. Had no idea how to work it, but thanks to Ryan, I do, and I'm having fun. I'm glad. Yeah, I walked Jeremy through some of it, and that's the kind of person that I am. I try to help everybody one-on-one. So yeah, if you're ever curious, hit that link in the description below. I believe I can share it in the chat too. Let me see. just so everybody can just link it and go. John is posting a question on it. Nice. Sardis, he is on my list. I'm going to be trying that one for sure. Right now, this is going to sound crazy, but right now I have so many that I'm trying to interview that I'm scheduling weeks in advance. And I've started to get people reaching out to me because they want to be on the show. All that is man says thoughts on the monsters. Do we have to do this, Brian? First off, I will say right now, if you have not, please go subscribe to All That Is Man. He's in the comments now. His channel, he does not post a lot yet. I'm trying to push him there, but he does some hilarious work, especially with unboxings. And he re-edited the entire Monsters trailer, and it is so much better than the real thing. I highly suggest you go subscribe to his channel. He is great. The Monsters. So yes, so he re-edited it so that it's in black and white, and it looks much better. I will highly suggest watching that instead of the real thing. Now, I'm not like a Rob Zombie fanboy, but I've liked most of his stuff. And unapologetically, I even like Halloween 2. I think it's a well-made movie. But the Monsters, I was quietly hopeful for. Now, not so much. My biggest problem actually was not the way that it looked, which it looked pretty bad, but the way that it sounded. For those that have not watched the Monsters trailer, it is bad. It sounds... I don't know. Like, I think I have better sound doing this than they did in the official trailer. It is awful. I'm certainly still gonna watch it probably. I can't wait to see the rush for people complaining about it. I gotta admit, everybody always complains about Sherry Moon Zombie. She genuinely looks decent in this one though. She looks like she fits in. She looks like she's a part of the community. She looks like she embodies that character pretty well. Shoot, I'd say it's probably the first time I've been excited to see her in something since the Lords of Salem. I think she was great in the Lords of Salem. Any possibility that they did that on purpose to give the sound effect of an old 70s show? I mean, it's possible, but I'm gonna agree with Dead Sea Life here. It sounded like he was using camera audio. There's a difference. Usually with something like that, you would expect well-recorded audio, perhaps with a type of like filter on it. This didn't have that. This was just an echoey soundstage, and it did not sound good at all. Sardis says it comes across like The Mask, facial expression wise. Yikes. Yeah, maybe a little bit. I could see that. Yeah. Dave, I completely agree. I think a lot of people are going to see this just to see how bad it is. But I'm curious if that was just to see what everybody was going to say about it, because it could be one of those gauge the fan interest things. But I honestly think he was shooting this to be in black and white. Johnny says, throw in my 2 cents. I'd love a review series focusing on specific genres through the guise of a specific label or two. Yes, I try to do some of that for sure. That is something that's on my mind for a couple of series that I'm writing out some ways to go about that soon. Rob says, I love a couple of zombies movies, but this trailer looks as if someone just discovered this unreleased mid-90s TV movie. Honestly, to me, it kind of looks worse than that. Because I genuinely liked a lot of the 90s TV movies, and 90s cinema in general, I think, is overlooked quite a bit. Yeah. Makeup on the cast is the best part of the film and shines through in black and white than full color. Yeah, I completely agree. It genuinely, in your black and white version, looks much, much better than in the 4K, or not 4K, than in the full color. But I mean, even 4K, that makes me wonder, like, if this ever gets a 4K release, can you imagine how bad it could look? Because 4K, it gives this realistic depth, and there was like no depth in this trailer. So if that is the look and the feel that they're going with, oh god, yeah, that's gonna be a train wreck. Jeremy, have fun at band practice. Appreciate you. Can't wait to hear the next song. All right, everybody. Any other questions? Anything else I can help with? I'm running out of things to catch up on. It's been a fairly quiet week. I've got a guest coming up on next Thursday, so look forward to that. I'm trying to do a guest every other Thursday, and then by myself in between, just to give you guys a little break from just being me by myself. If the Monsters turns out to be a bait and switch and the movie takes a turn, I would give all the... Well, I don't think it can be, because I believe it's rated PG, but that was the funniest part of the trailer for me, is it is rated PG, and the first words you see in the trailer are from the director of House of a Thousand Corpses. Oh, man. And I love House of a Thousand Corpses. Let me see if I can turn this and share. I've got a giant poster of it right here on the wall, if you haven't seen my room tour. So, yeah, I love that movie. I loved seeing that in the trailer of a PG movie. Sardis says, any surprise interviews coming? Yes. I've got 2 scheduled for next week, and then a 3rd for the following week. There's a lot coming up. Mommy, what's House of a Thousand Corpses? Oh, man. Dave says, thinking about it now, I think I'd be distracted by a Herman Munster not sounding like Fred Gwynn. Well, that's the thing for a film like this. I kind of want it to do its own thing. I don't want it to be something that tries to mimic the show in any way necessarily. And they kind of already did that with the whole, that's not straight now, with the ending of the trailer doing everything, with the whole him walking through the door and then Lily Munster coming through there and everything the way that it is. They mimicked every single movement. So they are mimicking some of it for sure. But I really hope that's like the only send up that they do of it, other than obviously the theme and the characters. But yeah, I wouldn't want somebody to put on like a Fred Gwynn full on accent or anything for sure. But yeah, I could see how that would be distracting. But I don't know. It's an iconic series with a lot of fans, but there are a lot of people too that have most people watching this. They are, either from a generation that was not around during the Munsters, or they're raising a generation of people that was not around during when the Munsters came out. And so this is like one of those things where I understand why they're doing it. I don't think it needed a reboot, but it could bring fans to the original show. It could bring people that are interested to find out why, this is needing some type of new property. So yeah, I'm curious about it. I'm not going to say I'm optimistic necessarily anymore. I do understand what John's saying. It is only a 90-second teaser trailer. But if they're going to release that with that terrible sound, I don't know. I lose a little bit of faith for sure. Robert Rodriguez should have done that with the Spy Kids movies from the director of El Mariachi. Oh yeah, Robert Rodriguez. He's had a wild career as well. Sardis watched it when it came out and loved it. I mean, the original Munsters is classic for a reason. It was great, and honestly, with the success of even the animated Addams Family, we have new Addams Family stuff coming this fall from Netflix. I think Tim Burton's behind that one, if I remember right. This could have been huge, and it very well still may be. And I'm not taking the piss out of Rob Zombie at all, because again, I've respected a lot of what he's done so far, and a lot of people hate him. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that for Rob Zombie. Let's see, any other trailers came out? We got a new trailer for the Orphan prequel, and I got to admit, that one I was not super excited about, but the trailer genuinely looks really good. Obviously, we know how the story ends, because it's a prequel, so we know what's coming next. But the main character, Esther, I believe is her character's name, she looks like she has not aged. In that original one, it came out, God, what was that, 2008 or 9, something like that? What year did that come out? Yeah, that was forever ago, and she's barely aged. Orphan first kill genuinely looks amazing. I think that was all the trailers. Halloween Kills, we are getting that trailer next week, it looks like. And the big thing, Nope from Jordan Peele, comes out next Friday. My big thing that I'm excited about right now, tomorrow at this time, I will be sitting in one of our boutique cinemas here in Kansas City, watching the full Grindhouse experience, watching both of them back to the back with the with the fake trailers and everything in the middle. And I missed out on watching that full experience in theaters when it first released. So I am stoked beyond belief that we are able to get the full experience this time. Taking my wife, she has never seen either of the films, so curious to see what she thinks, but I cannot wait for tomorrow. Any news on when or if X will get a 4K release? Now, I believe X is getting a 4K release overseas. I seem to remember it being Turbine Media is putting out a 4K media book for X. I may be wrong on that. It's either Turbine or like Cape Light, one of those German companies, I believe. And then, if you have not seen X, which honestly I haven't, I just absorbed pop culture a little too much. If you haven't seen it, light spoilers, maybe cover your ears for 10 seconds here. After the credits in the theaters, they showed a trailer for an X, another film related to X that is going to be coming out. So if that's coming out, I imagine that we might get a 4K 2-pack of both of them. And I would not be surprised if it came direct from A24, just like we just got of The Souvenir and The Souvenir Part 2. I'm not guaranteeing that. I have not heard anything, but I could see that coming for sure. No official news, though. And I don't think they've even said that for sure it is getting one. Eric said Grindhouse was really fun in the theater. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm beyond excited for it. John said it could end a relationship. It'll be all right. I mean, she watched Martyrs with me. She watched Irreversible with me. We've watched a lot worse. All right. I think that's it, folks. Once again, I will throw out a thank you to all of my patrons that are already supporting the channel. I could not do this without all of you. Genuinely, you keep this going. I highly appreciate it. This channel is a lot of work, and I've put a lot of money into this, so thank you. Anybody that is looking for it, the Patreon link is in the chat and in the description below. Thank you so much for everything. It's been a great week. Really good announcements recently, and last week was a pile-on. This week was a little bit of a rest, but looking for some more over the next couple weeks. And in the meantime, like I always say, from one collector to all of you, have a good night, everybody.